Hey folks, Vincent here with Technology Concierge. So it's been quite a long time since I've actually done a video, but long story short, life has sort of gotten in my path. I'm releasing today a video that's going to talk about just the basic, or rather walk you through the basic setup in Azure, Microsoft Azure, for setting up a storage account that you can then turn around and configure for use in ElasticSnapshots. Now, I've got this set up to be a test account, right? This is inside my test environment. So it's a fairly simple process. I'm just going to go through the Azure storage account creation and a couple of things that you're going to need to pay attention to when you get into Elastic. There's going to be other videos on this, but I'm going to try to keep them like 5 to 6 minutes in length and just kind of go boom, 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 so that you can get an idea of what to actually do without having all the arduous explanations. So once you've logged into Microsoft Azure, you're going to go into your search bar, you're going to go to storage accounts. Okay, inside of storage accounts, you're going to see an option that says create new. So you're going to create new, and that's what this screen is, your creation of a new storage account. I've labeled it into my resource group, Elastic Backup. Now you can create a new backup. I'm going to just set it to my old one. I'm not using this one anymore, and I am going to be deleting it. Storage account name, I'm going to set to test account 1 because that's all I want. Region, US East, you can change whatever region is most applicable to you. Standard, for most scenarios, general purpose v2. And then I do locally redundant storage, LRS, which is your lowest cost option. So then I'm going to select review and create. It's going to validate in progress. It'll take a moment. Once that's created, it gives me the general information here. I select create. It says initializing deployment, submitting deployment. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to go back in and delete this, right? But here's my deployment, and it's going to take a moment. Deployment in progress. You do want to take a note of this. There's going to be something else that's going to pop up here in a moment that you're going to want to screenshot. I screenshot this, and then I screenshot the completion of the deployment. You don't have to do that. That's just what I do. I'm sure someone somewhere is going to be like, "Whoa, you don't need to do that." That certainly happens at work. All right, so now I'm going to go to that resource. Now I'm inside the resource that we've created. Now the next thing that you need to do is get into containers here. So you have to actually create your container. Now this is the first thing I'm going to talk to you about that's important. Inside of containers, you're going to add a container, obviously. The new container, I would very highly suggest that you name it something that Elastic is going to find so you don't have to make changes later on, such as ElasticSearch-Snapshots, which, if I recall correctly, is the default. So that's what I'm going to name it. ElasticSearch-Snapshots. Create. Now that it's created, we're going to go over here inside that container, and you want shared access tokens. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this inside Elastic. I'm going to cover that part in the next video, but I am going to tell you right now, you should use the shared access tokens and generate a shared access token. Very specifically, the permissions you want are going to be read, write, delete, and list. The reason you do it this way is so that when you attach the repository in Elastic, you do not give Elastic access to the entire storage account. You just give it access to the container with the specific permissions that you set that you want it to have when you're creating your snapshots. Please understand that is a very important thing. You don't just want to randomly give access to an entire storage account to a series of applications, whether it's a controlled environment or otherwise. That's the concept of least access. Whatever it needs to do its job, that's the access you give it. You don't give it God-level access. That's bad. Please don't do that. All right, so that concludes this very basic video. That's all I'm going to cover in this video, so I know it's going to leave you on a cliffhanger, but I am going to compile some other videos that are going to be much more in-depth. So hopefully this helps at least getting you started for people who are having issues with this. If you don't know some of the nuances, especially with Elastic, it can be a real pain in the butt sometimes to configure these things, even though the actual configuration is not that difficult. You guys have a great rest of your day, and stay tuned for the upcoming video that's going to walk through the actual process of configuring the repository inside of Elastic and in the Kibana interface.